can see, we used to do everything together. He used to live in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and okay, so when I was 10 years old, I remember this one day I was at home and we used to live in front of his apartments, and people used to like throw trash and stuff in like out back behind these trees behind our house. And this one day, for some reason, I was back there and I was like digging through the trees, and I found this little container of Altoids, and I was like, why is this back here? And it was like kind of hidden underneath like some leaves and stuff. And I opened it up, and there was this like, I was 10, so I didn't really know what it was, but clearly now I know it was drugs that was inside of the container. And I took it into my room, and I dumped it out in the trash because I didn't want my grandma to find out and get mad at him. And he ended up finding out somehow, and he came in my room, and he was just like, you know, where are they at? You know, I need to talk to you about this. And he was like 15 at the time, so freshman in high school. And I was kind of weird when I was little, so I like told him, I remember, it's like, you know, they're gonna find out about it, and I didn't really know who I was talking about either, but come to find out about it, now everybody knows. When he was 22 years old, we almost lost him to a heroin overdose, and he wouldn't have been here if the person who wasn't supposed to be in his house was there. And the reason I'm sharing these memories with you guys is because my senior project has to do with substance abuse and addiction. So my group's big question is, how can we help others in the community fight and recognize addiction and substance abuse? And this I found it to be really important because I don't know if anybody else has noticed over the past few years how many people in Mount Pleasant have been dying due to overdose and have been getting addicted to drugs and stuff. And okay, so what I noticed when we were researching was I was getting a lot of like statistics and stuff, and in 2014 it was 1 out of every 12 people was going to be, you know, like my brother, they're going to get addicted and stuff. And what out of that one person, now in 2017 it's 1 out of every 10 people. And I kind of figured out like the population in the school is like, I don't know, like around 1,000 something. So I figured out, you know, like 1 out of every 10 of those people eventually in their life is going to be affected. And then out of the one person, 10 to 20 other people, like brothers, sisters, parents, doctors, coworkers and stuff will be affected too. And some of these this was my last, we set up this survey, and I just did it because I didn't know like what kinds of questions I wanted to answer with the video, so I put the survey out there, and I didn't think I was going to get very many responses, but we ended up getting 80, and this was the last question I asked them. I was like, you know, what would you want to know, and you wish you would know about, like how to help them, and actually 3 people on there, this was anonymous too, so people like have to like put their names and stuff, but one of the 3 of the responses on there, 2 people, their family members had died due to overdose on drugs, and another one had died to alcoholism. And that kind of made me recognize at the time, like I don't know if this is just a me thing, but like over working on my senior project, I got a little bit tired, and I was like, I don't really know I'm doing this anymore. And when we made this survey, and I got all of these responses on there from people in my community, I had no idea this was going on, and like all these people had all these questions they wanted answered. I ended up taking it like pretty seriously. And so our approach, we made a video, and it's not complete yet because we had set up this interview with a professional like addiction counselor, and she couldn't get into town until tomorrow, so we had her interview, and then we're gonna finish up the video. But we interviewed 3 people. I was setting out to do 8, but I feel like a couple of people kind of got uncomfortable and didn't want to do it anymore. So we have 2 people from this school, and then 1 parent, and then the addiction counselor. And we videotaped their stories on what happened, and the 2 people from the school, like I've known them my entire life, and I had no idea what they were going through and stuff. And then the addiction counselor, I took some of the questions off of the survey, and I'm going to ask her those to get the answers that they need. Just a little bit of help and kind of put some resources in there for them, like families, so they know what to do. And then our audience is everybody, because sadly, I think it's crazy that it's 1 out of every 10 in 2017. I don't know what the numbers are going to be in 10 years or even 5 years. So I think that the video is going to give, hopefully is going to give people at least one takeaway, so that they can, anytime, if they're ever affected, like if they ever have a friend who has a friend or a brother or sister that's affected, they kind of know a little bit how to get help and how to talk to them. And I learned especially to give help when it's needed and to listen to people and always keep an open mind, because you know, you could be like going to school with somebody since you're in kindergarten and then find out that they have been fighting something like that their whole life. So definitely being there to help people and listen to them. And I mean, considering like me and like my whole entire group members have been affected by this, but I didn't even know a quarter as much of what I learned when researching. I didn't know any of that stuff. I didn't know like how to ask people, how to talk to them about their experiences until I did. So that's definitely something just to keep an open mind, to get educated, even if you have experienced something like that.